So Elon Musk just had a kind of weird press conference in the Oval Office where he defended his efforts under DOGE to find government waste and fraud. And the thing he said was that people voted for government reform, and that's exactly what he was doing. And that is how democracy works, which is not exactly correct for a couple of reasons. First off, if you look at exit polls, most voters who elected Trump in office were voting for economic relief. They were bothered by inflation, cost of living, housing crisis. They were looking for help with that. They're not getting it. Part two is that the law actually does provide for transparency and oversight of government agencies. This is done via a really exhausting and boring process of lawmakers meeting in committee and hashing out appropriations bills and then voting on those bills. But the problem is political polarization has reached such a level where members of Congress can't sit down together to actually hash this out and pass a budget. Now, one of the main drivers behind polarization and gridlock in Congress is the fact that most members of Congress, about 80%, sit in safe seats. What this means is that their congressional district is so firmly in the hands of one party that the party primary effectively serves as a general election. Now, primaries tend to attract a much smaller group of more partisan voters, giving the party's base much more control over how legislators act when they're in office. And because the most partisan voters tend to punish legislators who cross the aisle in the interest of getting things done, there's zero incentive to compromise. So if Musk was serious about rooting out government waste and making government more effective, he'd be better off working outside of Washington to reform elections and change the incentives to give the majority of voters more power than the partisan base. A couple of my favorite reforms are open nonpartisan primaries and ranked choice voting, both of which have shown to reduce the level of polarization in political candidates. But the good news, we don't have to wait for a billionaire to take action. This is a reform you can enact in your state. If you're interested, Google Rank the Vote. They are an organization that's focused on fostering ranked choice voting movements across the country, or just follow me. I talk about this stuff all the time. Hope this helps.